Hi everyone, my name is Rachel Walsh, and on behalf of Newry, Mourne and Down District Council and Tourism Northern Ireland, you are very welcome to this recording entitled Managing Digital Content Through the COVID-19 Crisis. The purpose of this recording is to support your business with practical tips on how to successfully manage your digital activity through the COVID-19 crisis. You'll also gain tips on ways you can create new revenue streams during this time. The recording will follow the format of the key topics outlined in this slide. I am, of course, aware that there are people listening to this recording who come from all kinds of experiences, and my aim is that everyone leaves with something valuable. Do remember that there is a live webinar follow-up to this recording that will take place on Tuesday, the 19th of May from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. If you would like to submit questions in advance of that webinar, please email those questions using the link shown on screen before Friday, May 15th at 12 noon. Before we begin, I would first like to talk to you about our wonderful customers. During these unprecedented times, it is even more important to be proactive about looking after our customers. Our businesses need to know, firstly, how to fulfill their needs, and secondly, how to match their expectations. It is particularly important that we must focus on customers' evolving needs and wants during this time. With everyone confined to their home, even more people are engaging and buying online and looking for new ways to interact with people and businesses. As well as understanding our customers, we must also understand the digital marketing channels available to us. The paid, owned, earned model displayed here is a way to categorize how we can engage with our customers through digital platforms. Paid media strategies are typically used to attract new businesses from customers through paid ads on Facebook, Google Ads, display or video ads, whereas owned media refers to the digital real estate within our immediate control. That means the digital media platforms that belong to our business, such as our website or social media profiles. Earned media refers to what other people say about us, such as online PR, influencer collaborations, user-generated content, and so on. With so many options available to us, understanding which levers to pull during a time of crisis is key. Paid media, in particular, is an area where you may need to reevaluate your approach based on consumer behaviours. I recommend monitoring any changes to consumer behaviour on your ads and be prepared to pause ads, shift budget, or even revise creative based on consumer response. If you feel you need to maintain some element of paid activity, steer away from hard sell commercial advertising and instead shift focus to how your brand can provide value for consumers. I know from my work with tourism businesses that the first question I'm being asked is, how can I bring my business online? My answer to that is the business must be clear on their aim. And by that, I mean, is their aim A, to raise the profile of the business, and or B, to actually sell a product or service online? Once you set that objective, you can use your owned media to achieve this objective. For example, I have been working with many tourism businesses to help achieve such objectives, including a museum that currently has nothing it can sell online. Their aim, therefore, is to raise their profile. They have taken their business online by running a virtual exhibition of their latest collection. In this example, a museum is using Facebook Live to showcase their latest exhibition. All you need to be able to do this is a phone and a tripod. You should follow a similar setup to how the exhibition will be delivered offline. So for example, if there's a tour guide in the offline world, have a tour guide in place for your virtual tour, taking people to each part of the exhibition and delivering commentary. Now let's take a look at a business that can sell products online during these times. I've been working with tourism experiences that also have a retail division, such as craft breweries, distilleries, honeybee farms, yoga experiences, and so on. These businesses have never sold online, and so the current crisis actually represents an opportunity for them to do so. Personally, I'm a big fan of Whitewater Brewing. I have followed their story and I am aware that they have won significant awards, including the Golden Fork. So let's use them as an example. Let's say Whitewater Brewery decide to sell their beer via their website. Here is a screenshot of their website as it currently stands. They could use an e-commerce plugin such as WooCommerce or Shopify and add a shop to their website. On this slide, we see how Whitewater Brewery could highlight the new shop on their homepage of their website. You'll see a message has been added to the homepage highlighting the shop opening and free delivery. The colour red is used as it's not a colour you would typically associate with Whitewater Brewery. Therefore, it's impossible for the customer to miss it. You'll also see a message on the homepage which promotes the shop while also reinforcing that this is a family-run business and that your purchase is going towards keeping the tradition of brewing alive in the Mourne Mountain region. This message tells the customer that they are supporting a local business by purchasing, which can act as an incentive. Whitewater Brewery could also promote the new shop via their social media accounts and drive traffic to their website. If Whitewater Brewery didn't have a website or they didn't have the capacity to create an e-commerce shop, they could also consider selling via Facebook or Instagram. Although this can be more time consuming from an admin perspective, it does allow Whitewater Brewery to start selling immediately. If you use social selling, it's important to be clear about the ordering process so as to avoid confusion. Here you can see a message that could be posted on their Facebook page explaining exactly how to order and how the customer makes payment. Next, let's consider the experience that is offered by Whitewater Brewery, particularly brewery tours. How can they replicate this experience in an online setting? Well, they could use technology such as Zoom, Facebook Live, Insta Live, YouTube, and so on, all to offer virtual experiences. These could include a virtual brewery tour or, for example, a webinar with one of their brewers showing the correct way to taste your beer. If you do make the decision to sell online, you must ensure that you are clear about your COVID-19 policies. The policies that you have for selling online now may vary to what you had in the past or what you will have in the future. Be clear about how orders should be placed, timeframes for processing, and how the items will be delivered. Let's not forget that e-commerce is all about speed. How fast can you get an order to your customers? The faster, the better. You also need to consider what happens when something goes wrong. How do you process refunds and returns? Here you can see a sample shipping policy and return policy, which can be used as a guide. These should be clearly displayed on your website to avoid any ambiguity. For some of you, your objective during this time might be to simply raise awareness of your business and all that you have to offer. Again, using your owned media and combining it with earned media can be really useful and a great way to amplify your message. Consider how you can use social media to remind customers what they're missing. If your customers can't experience your venue at the moment, be their eyes. Share pictures of your business and show what's going on behind the scenes. Here is an example of a Facebook or Instagram post that could be used by an estate or garden. Ensure you use high quality images to accompany any post and use language that empathizes with your followers. Take the chance to encourage followers to engage with you and share their own thoughts or experiences. User-generated content is a powerful tool, particularly when used to promote nostalgia or evoke emotion. Using the same example, we see that the customer is being asked to share images using a specific hashtag. This encourages the customer to engage with you while also amplifying your brand message and increasing your reach. Social media is also a great place to generate publicity around corporate social responsibility activity. Consider whether your brand is in a position to contribute to CSR initiatives in a meaningful and authentic way. Use social media to amplify that message and share it with your followers. This is a great example from Cologne Distillery, where they highlight the work they're doing with the Peter McVerry Trust. If you visit their Facebook page, you will see that they share the original post, which came from Peter McVerry Trust, rather than promoting it initially themselves. The message came from the charitable organisation rather than the business, which makes it all the more authentic. Blogger and influencer collaborations are a useful means to reach new audiences and raise brand awareness. If you have previously engaged in influencer marketing, now is the time to reach out to these bloggers and ask for their support in a time of crisis. Many bloggers are offering free brand mentions for businesses they have previously collaborated with. And if you're new to the world of influencer marketing, perhaps now is the time to consider the types of bloggers that you may want to work with. Identify bloggers that have similar brand values to yours and be ready to reach out to them post COVID-19. Finally, it's important to remember that although we're in the middle of a pandemic, life does go on. Of course, it goes on in a very different way than before, but we can still celebrate anniversaries, birthdays, special occasions. People are missing each other. Can you or your business help them connect in a meaningful way? Instead of using a hard sell approach, use storytelling to engage your customers and explain how you will make their lives even a little bit better. In this example, we see a Facebook post for a cafe. Perhaps the cafe was a place where people would meet to mark a special occasion. What can the cafe do to replicate that experience? They may have conducted customer research on social media and discovered that people are missing their homemade produce. As a result, isolation celebration hampers were created, and the value of these were communicated to the customer via social media. Of course, it's important to remember that the time will come again when we can open our doors and welcome our customers with open arms. When this happens, it's important that we are ready to go and maximize opportunities from the recovery. Once again, let's put ourselves in the shoes of our customers. What will be important to them? What will they want to know before visiting their favorite museum or taking a tour in a brewery? Cast your mind back to when this all began. When we had to take a trip to the supermarket, where did we go? We went to the one that had measures in place that made us feel safe. It will be no different for you and your business. Your customers' health and safety needs must be your priority. Once you have decided on the appropriate safety measures, the next step is to communicate how your business is going to operate post-COVID-19. Here we see an example of a social media post for a business providing tours in a confined space. Although the safety measures will vary business by business, the message and the delivery remains the same. It's important to use language that is clear and confident that allows for no confusion. Reassure your customers that you have a plan in place to ensure their health and safety at all times, and this message should be shared on all channels. You could even consider incorporating it into your paid strategy. Although these are challenging times, COVID-19 has also presented many new opportunities for businesses. For some businesses, this temporary transition period may become the new normal. New revenue streams may have been created that can be built into your strategy post-COVID-19. And reviewing your marketing mix at this stage is advisable, as you may be able to expand your reach for these new revenue streams through paid strategies. For example, if you are selling your experience virtually, you can now offer the service to far-reaching audiences rather than a local audience. Once again, reassess the levers to pull to ensure marketing effectiveness. The world has dramatically changed for us and for our customers. People's health, livelihoods, and wellness are being impacted by COVID-19. It's important to consider how this has impacted our audience and potentially change their behaviours. How can we respond to this in a positive way? In order to behave appropriately during this time, we must take the following steps. 1. Listen to our customers. Pay attention to their changing needs and wants at this time. 2. Adapting our digital marketing strategies based on these new behaviours and using an appropriate tone and message. 3. Communicating clearly with our audience without ambiguity. And most importantly, rising to the occasion by providing value at all times. A successful marketing strategy happens when you reflect your customers' needs and wants. Use your digital channels to listen to what your customers want and put a listening plan in place. Monitor hashtags and brand mentions on social media, set up Google Alerts, Consider asking your audience for feedback by way of two-way conversation to find out what they want to see. This demonstrates that your brand is aware of the complexity of the issue and sensitive to what consumers are going through. It can also help you identify new business opportunities that may not have been considered. Here you can see an example of a Facebook post where the business is asking for input from the customer. The business has also offered an incentive, which can be a useful way to encourage engagement and start the dialogue. Let's say that someone comments on this post and says that they really missed the lasagna dish from the hotel restaurant. The business could consider posting a recipe to make the meal from home, or they could have the chef do an Instagram live cook along. Alternatively, the business could create a new revenue stream where they could create lasagna kits containing all the ingredients which can be purchased by customers to make from home. They could even ask customers to share their creation using a specific hashtag, such as #LockdownLasagna. With increased self-isolation comes increased online media consumption. Adapting both your digital strategies and product offering will help you capitalize on this engaged audience. Consider how you can adapt your product or service to allow your customers to virtually experience all that you have to offer. These days, e-commerce platforms can be created within a few days. You could be selling online by the end of the week. If you don't have a website, you also have the option of selling via your social media. All you need is a Facebook page and a PayPal or Stripe account. The other thing to consider is whether or not you need to adapt your marketing mix. At a time of crisis, when income is unreliable, you may want to consider pausing all paid activity. So for example, if you are a hotel that cannot welcome guests at the moment, consider pausing your Google Ads activity. Alternatively, consider changing the message from a sales message to a more appropriate message. Utilizing your own channels during this time is beneficial as it shows your customers that you have not gone dark. And that leads me on to step 3, which highlights the importance of communication. Modern consumers are savvy. They demand and deserve transparency. Avoid going dark during this time. Find your voice and use it. Unless the nature of your product inherently puts your brand at risk of coming across as insensitive, opportunistic, or profiteering, keep the lines of communication open. Be transparent about how your business is operating during this time. Digital media, in particular social media, provides consumers with a direct line to brands, and consumers are using that to question and challenge us. Encourage that two-way dialogue by asking your customers to engage with you in a positive way. Steer away from hard sell content that directly promotes products and shift your focus to how your business can provide value for customers. If you are unsure about whether or not to post something on your social media or website, consider the points in this checklist. If you're happy that the message being communicated will be without repercussions, consider the channels you might choose and how to amplify your message. Revert back to the paid, owned and earned model. Finally, let's not forget that the key to any successful digital marketing strategy is understanding your customers' evolving needs and wants. The businesses who adapt, pivot, and innovate during this time will be the ones to maximize on COVID-19 opportunities. Thank you for listening, and I hope you can take action from this. I would encourage you to write down 3 things you can do now that will improve your business's digital marketing. Maybe it's as big as setting up an e-commerce shop or as small as posting something on Facebook. Either way, with action comes results. Please note that as a follow-up to this recording, there will be a live webinar on Tuesday, the 19th of May from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. As mentioned, you can submit your questions in advance and I will answer them live. If you would like to have your questions addressed during the webinar, please submit your query by Friday, the 15th of May, and you can use the link now shown on your screen. And as you can see, this web link also lists the full suite of workshops and mentoring supports that form part of this series, so do make sure that you check those out. I look forward to receiving your questions, and I'm especially looking forward to seeing you all at the live webinar on Tuesday, the 19th of May from 10 a.m. Until then, I wish you the very best.